Real Virginia is produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Farming, it's all good. Visit our website at vafarmbureau.org.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful foods we enjoy. Some Virginia apple growers have found a way to tie their fall crop into the winter holidays. Mark Viette has some ideas for recycling your garden in your holiday decorations. And why not do your holiday shopping this year at a Virginia farmers market? Welcome back everyone. We're here at Chesterfield Berry Farm Market in Chesterfield County. It's one of the few indoor farmers markets in our area. And they are definitely ready for the holiday shopper here. And one of the very unique and delicious gifts you can find all across Virginia is a Virginia apple. And apple growers are finding all sorts of ways to produce new items for your holiday gift giving. It's been a good year for Virginia apple growers, and now many of them are gearing up for one of the busiest times of the year, the holidays. Like many retail orchards in Virginia, the owners of Eikenberry Orchards and Farm Market in Botetourt County have had a very busy harvest season.
We're definitely ecstatic to be out of the orchard and have that part of the process wrapped up. And then we have a retail market where we do stay really busy through the holidays selling presents, lots of products.
For nearly a century, 5 generations of Eikenberry farmers have worked around the apple trees. This market offers many apple products, from homemade apple butter and applesauce to any one of their 13 varieties of apples. There is something for everyone in the market.
We also do a fair share of shipping apples. People want to send a box of apples as a gift for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and we ship, all across the United States. I personally hand-pick every individual apple that I ship to people, so I know they're getting, good stuff.
Eikenberry Orchards was once a wholesale operation that shipped fruit across the United States. But in the 80s, the owners of this farm decided to change their business model and sell direct to the consumer. The market and farm employ 15 to 20 workers during peak season, but it's still run as a small family operation. Virginia apple harvest begins in July and extends through early November. You can buy fresh apples all fall, but apples also last in cold storage as long as late spring. But this is definitely the busiest time of year.
We like to wait till the temperature consistently is cold because we ship UPS. So we usually don't begin until the beginning weeks, 1 or 2 weeks of November. We're reaching out to people that don't live here, that don't drive by every day on their way, home from work or on the weekends. And then we do have those people that want to give a gift basket just as a random gift, which isn't our normal customer. So yeah, we do see a lot of increase, like new faces come in definitely this time of year.
In addition to fresh fruit, processed apples, and gift baskets, Virginia's newest apple industry is hard cider. Many of the state's cideries welcome visitors. Virginia apples are grown on more than 100 commercial orchards, totaling about 16,000 acres. And the apple industry is big business. The latest figures show that apples contribute more than $235 million to the state's economy each year. For more information on where you can order your apple products or find out more about Virginia apples, go to virginiaapples.net.
While development pressure is moving north from the Roanoke Valley, agriculture is still very much alive in Botetourt County. Dairy and beef cattle are the top farm products here, with 21,000 head of cattle in the county. Apples, horses, hogs, sheep, and lambs are also raised in this mountainous region. There are also a couple of poultry houses in the county. The top row crop is hay for feeding cattle, but corn and wheat are also raised here. Altogether, the 638 farms generate more than $13.5 million for the economy of Botetourt County, Virginia.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, we're going to talk about recycling parts of your garden and bringing them indoors for the holidays. Stay with us.
I feel that family farms are very important because it's not just a living or occupation, it's a way of life. We live, work, and play right here in one location.
The grandchildren are around, and as often as they can, they'll come and say, "Grandma, can I help?"
There's a lot of challenges, but by having to be a family operation, it makes it all more enjoyable.
This is what I do. It's my livelihood. I enjoy doing it. This is my hobby. It's my vocation. It's a wonderful place to enjoy life with my wife, my children, and grandchildren.
We're putting out a product for other people to drink and consume. We hope they like milk and cheese and ice cream and butter and all those good things.
What I've always done is what I enjoy doing. It's what I hope my family will continue to do in the future.
I'm Gerald Heatwell.
I'm Anita Heatwell.
I'm Monty Heatwell.
And I'm dedicated to dairy, our cows, our milk, and our land.
This is so cool, Dad. Awesome. This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Decorating your home for the holidays doesn't have to be tricky. In fact, Mark Viette says it can be easy if you recycle items from in the garden.
We're here at Village Garden Center in Fishersville, Virginia, one of my favorite Christmas shops to go to. There's like 30 different trees decorated with different themes here. When we go visit Christmas shops and displays, you know, we take great trouble to try to create something that looks like nature. Now, this is not natural, but it is made to simulate oak leaves that are disintegrating, and it also has a few balls, and it's sparkly and it's red. On the other hand, you can go out in the garden and you can find things that you can build indoors. And here we've got, you know, very popular theme, and that's owl, made out of evergreen cones, cotton, and a few twigs. So you can take part of your outdoors and create something unique and different indoors. And there's other things that we can look at. You can use pine cones, and you can also look at branches and stems from maybe some of your down maple trees that you might have, and you can bring them indoors, and I'll show you some of those things now. There's some simple elements to design. One is very simple, and you'll see here in this natural tree here that the colors are very similar, and there's been a lot of natural use of evergreen cones, burlap, pine cones, and even here twigs make up this owl. But if you look at this, you can see the repetition of color. That kind of unifies the whole design, so it's not jumbled in your brain, so it's very simple. And as we look right over here, some other things that you can recycle from the garden, maybe an old birdhouse. And here, if you look, you can see right in the back the clean out for the old birdhouse. So you can take an old birdhouse, spray paint it, and add a few decorations to it, and this is something you use again year after year after year. Just a couple other things. You can go ahead and break up pine cones and create, as you see here, some added value to some of your decorations. Right here we have a driftwood candle, and going back to evergreen pine spruce cones, you can make something like this. Real simple, great artistic ability, especially if your kids can do it, the whole family can do it, and you can use them again year after year. Instead of taking your branches and twigs and your prunings and putting them in either the compost pile or the shredder or taking them to the town, you can go ahead, as Jeff has done here, taking some hedge maples, these were damaged limbs, and he just took a plastic black pot and put the stem or branch in it, concrete, and let it dry, and then these can be positioned anywhere indoors. And then what he did is just took spray, enamel, and sprayed them, added a little bit of glitter or gloss. You can even spray them white. And then after the holidays, you can take these and set them back outdoors in the garden. And you'll see what that looks like in just a minute. After the holiday season, you can undecorate your little tree you've created. You can bring it back outdoors, put it in the garden, nice bright red color. The birds will enjoy landing on it. It's just that simple. Again, recycling your outdoors to indoors, back to outdoors. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Many cooks simply boil Brussels sprouts, but Kendra Bailey Morris has another option that makes them taste great. That's next in Heart of the Home.
The power's out, but you've planned ahead and your food safety plan is on. You've stocked up on shelf-stable foods and a can opener in case you're in the dark for a while. You don't open the fridge, foods there will be safe for up to 4 hours if the door stays closed. You keep the freezer shut too, and you've kept it full. A full freezer will keep food frozen for about 2 days. A half-full freezer, about 1 day. For longer outages, you move cold foods to an insulated cooler with plenty of ice or freezer gels, and you use a thermometer to ensure foods remain no higher than 40 degrees Fahrenheit. If the power returns quickly, you make sure freezer foods have ice crystals, and check foods in the refrigerator with a food thermometer to make sure they're at 40 degrees or below. If not, or if there's any doubt, throw it out. To learn more, go to www.fsis.usda.gov. Click on Ask a Food Safety Question, or call the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Meat and Poultry Hotline at 1-888-MP Hotline.
What is Governor's School for Agriculture, anyway?
It's animal and veterinary science.
It's plant science. It's natural resources.
It's agricultural economics.
It's fun. And the best part is, it's at Virginia Tech.
Conservation is not a new word for us. As rice and soybean farmers, both my father and my grandfather invested in water conservation. Their goals are now my goals, to use water efficiently in producing crops. Clean water is important to our family, our farm, and every living thing in the watershed.
Farm Bureau and America's farmers, caring for the future.
Brussels sprouts are a great vegetable. They are full of vitamins and antioxidants, but not everyone always has a good taste for them. But as Kendra Bailey Morris shows us, she has a terrific recipe that's sure to please everyone in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Kendra Bailey Morris, and welcome to the Heart of the Home. Today we are in Sur La Table's beautiful kitchen, as we often are, and we are going to be making a really nice dish using Brussels sprouts. And this is a dish for the folks that are kind of on the fence about Brussels sprouts, and Brussels sprouts are one of those things, you either love them or you hate them. But it is a Virginia product, and they are really wonderful the way we're going to make them, which is roasted, and we're going to top with some bacon and some blue cheese. So you can't go wrong with the bacon and blue cheese. So this is the dish to make a Brussels lover out of your Brussels haters. What I'm going to do, what I've done already actually, is I've gone ahead and trimmed the outer pieces of these off, and also take the little rough ends off and sliced right down the middle. And that's all you need to do to prep these ahead of time. And now I'm just going to add a generous amount of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons to a pound of Brussels sprouts, thereabouts. And I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of sea salt. Not too much, because we're going to add some bacon and blue cheese, and those are already salty by nature, so you don't want to oversalt this. Some black pepper. And then I'm just using my hands. Sometimes that's a lot easier to just go ahead, use your hands, toss this together. And don't worry if some of these little leaves pop off. When you roast these in the oven, they get really crispy and delicious. They're almost kind of addicting, because like the Brussels sprout leaves, who knew? But they're really good. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to spread these in a sheet pan. And I like to go ahead and flip them all on one side so I can control they're roasting a little bit more. And this, a lot of people have problems with Brussels sprouts who don't care for them because they just kind of had them boiled or steamed and they were really plain. Roasting them is a wonderful way to bring out the natural caramelization and the flavors, the sugars that is in the Brussels sprouts and all vegetables for that matter. So we're going to roast these, slow roast them for about 20, 30 minutes, and about halfway through the cooking process, I'm going to flip them over, and you'll see when they're done, you get this really, really beautiful, deep caramelized color, and they have so much flavor. Like I said, it'll make even folks that don't like Brussels sprouts like Brussels sprouts. So these are going to go in the oven, and we'll be right back. Okay, so our Brussels sprouts have been going about 20, 25 minutes, and I'm going to take them out of the oven. And you can see they're very different from how they were before. They are very caramelized and brown. And I've tossed them around a couple of times during the cooking process. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and remove these to a bowl. And we're going to go to the second half of the recipe. We've got them all here. And now I'm going to drizzle with a little bit more olive oil because you can see they've kind of dried out during the cooking process. And that happens naturally. As you cook them, they will absorb some of the oil. So I'm going to add a little bit more back in. And then now I'm going to add some balsamic vinegar. And this is aged balsamic vinegar, which has a less kind of that real vinegary flavor and more sweetness to it, which I think balances everything out really nicely. Toss this around. And now I'm going to add some crumbled blue cheese. You could use Roquefort cheese or any number of things. And I've got some cooked and crumbled bacon here. Add a little bit of that in there. Save some more to go on top. And we will toss all of this together. And it's nice to do this when it's warm because the cheese kind of melts a little bit in there and blends with the balsamic and everything else. And then I'm just going to plate a little bit here. Add a little bit more on top of the blue cheese and a little extra crumbled bacon just because it's pretty. And bacon, everything's better with bacon as the saying goes, especially more of it. So here you have it. It's a roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon and blue cheese and balsamic and a little bit of olive oil. I'm Kendra Bailey Morris. Let's get cooking.
Recipes from the heart of the home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.
A member of the cabbage family, the forerunners of modern Brussels sprouts were probably raised in ancient Rome. During the Middle Ages, they became very popular in Northern Europe. Thomas Jefferson grew them in his garden at Monticello. You can buy Brussels sprouts at local farmers markets and farms in Virginia, but the majority of the Brussels sprout production is in California, with some raised on Long Island. More than 80% of the nation's crop goes to frozen food market, with the rest going to supermarkets and restaurants. Here in Virginia, Brussels sprouts grow best in the cooler mountain regions, along with cabbage and other cold weather crops.
Nice. Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on!
Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
If you still are looking for that perfect gift for someone, Patrick Dunn says look no further than your local farmer's market, where they have the fruits of this year's harvest already wrapped up for you.
Up until today, I wouldn't have considered purchasing a holiday gift at a farmer's market. But farmers markets across the state, like this one here, the Harrisonburg Farmers Market behind me, offer some unique gifts, homegrown, right here in Virginia.
As I walked through the crowded market, gift ideas seemed to jump out at me from just about every vendor's booth. The market's manager knew just what I was talking about.
Oh my goodness, there's just all kinds of possibilities for that here, depending on what their list looks like. But we have all kinds of food products, prepared foods, wonderful Christmas holiday things. Our vendors are really creative, in addition to the regular just artisan breads and fabulous foods of every description. There's obviously a lot of winter products, so people can shop for Christmas meal fixings as well as their gift list.
I mean, who wouldn't like some homemade jam or jelly, a bottle of local Virginia wine, fresh maple syrup, or apple butter? The selection seemed to be growing step by step. And then I ran into Debbie and Steve Fisher.
Everything is hand carved or hand turned from my husband, Steve. We try to use as much of Virginia wood, living in Virginia, of course, cherry, maple. This is an ambrosia maple piece that has beautiful figuring in the wood, different bowls. Our cooking utensils are very popular in the area. A lot of people, in fact, buy them and then add a nice little recipe that they've made, have been handed down through the ages for them. And if they really want to go all out, they buy a lot of the local vegetables and jellies and jams here from the market to incorporate that in as their gift.
The Harrisonburg Farmers Market started 34 years ago when Samuel Johnson and his wife showed up to sell their wares. Their farm, Hickory Hill, is still here, and there's nothing like finding that one-of-a-kind gift and purchasing it locally.
I think there's a lot of beauty in shopping locally. It supports the local economy, obviously. I think there's some reason to think that it could help the carbon footprint a little bit. Certainly, it gives people an incredible connect with what they're buying. I just love that about the market, the community that I see here and the conversations that I see and the vendors talking to customers and the customers talking to vendors, and that you don't get that connect in a regular store.
So when you want to put the spirit back in your holiday, check out your local farmers market. You never know who or what you may find for that someone special in your life.
Part of the beauty of the market is it's just the things that people find here are really unique. You're not going to find them anywhere else.
You can find listings of farmers markets and their hours at virginiagrown.com or the Farm Bureau website. In Harrisonburg, Virginia, I'm Patrick Dunn.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer, whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, or our wide open spaces. We are proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good month.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake.